Then they did a great package, which I did watch, on the Rhodes brothers and the Bucks, and they actually talked about the Bucks making fun of shit and making fun of them, and made it kind of a shoot little package, and set up, that they were going to lose their temper with each other because there was ill feelings. I have no idea where Jake Snake Roberts and Tony Schiavone came from in that package, just out of nowhere, to talk about the Rhodeses and the Bucks. And has Tony Schiavone ever worked with the Young Bucks? He's talking about how great they are.
I am not sure. I thought he was good in the package. I don't know why the fuck they would use Jake, who's been begging them for a job on social media, and let's just all remember, complete white trash. But
he's a major name in wrestling. So is Tony Schiavone. But how were they applicable to this? I don't know where. If you were going to get two people to comment in this package, it just seemed an odd choice. Well, maybe they were there.
Well, let me ask you this now that I'm thinking about it. How far is Tony, and if Jake still lives in Georgia, how far is that from Jacksonville?
Jacksonville from Atlanta, let's see, would be 400 miles.
Okay, it's even longer. I didn't realize it was that far away. Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I don't know that I've ever done Atlanta to Jacksonville direct, but you know what? Maybe you would know.
Because that's what I'm thinking. Maybe because they're in Georgia, they were close enough that they could film something last minute with them.
Well, it wouldn't be 400 miles, but you'd have to go all the way down through South Georgia, and then Jacksonville is up in North Georgia and over on the right-hand side, so it's 300 miles. Whatever the fuck. Point is, I don't know why they were in that package. Anyway, but great package. Okay, here comes the Young Bucks and the Rhodes brothers. And I want you people to know that at one point, I have written down here, I'm going to write down this line. This is the best Young Bucks match I have ever seen.
Wow.
I was thrilled that's what I wrote at one point. I was thrilled from the start. They locked up. You could tell that Matt and Nick actually were going to try to show people that they could work as well as do all the flippy stuff. And when they locked up, there was a little extra oomph in it. And they're trying, even though Dustin and Cody are just so much bigger, and there is a size visual credibility issue, right? But they were working. You could tell Cody and Dustin led them through this fucking thing where they did almost the impossible, in that they got all of the Young Bucks stuff in the first 10 minutes of the match. They got all this stuff in, but it all made sense. So the Bucks got to do their shit, but it still made sense. People still sold shit. There was a wrestling match going on. Obviously, Cody and Dustin are controlling the fucking thing. They got heat on, they worked at first like the Bucks were heels, right? Where they got the heat on Dustin first.
Yeah.
And Dustin sells like $1 million. And then they give Cody the tag. And they're about 12 minutes in, and Cody's making this big ass comeback. And I'm thinking, they've done it. The Young Bucks have had a great wrestling match. They've done their flippy shit, but it still all made sense. Cody and Dustin are magicians. This is fucking fabulous. And then Cody finishes his comeback, and they don't win, and the match is not over, and then everything settles down, and they start over. And the people were up. And then they go into a second set of heat, but this time they get heat on one of the Bucks. And now they're suddenly kind of working as heels, but not really, but they get heat on the Bucks so the Bucks can get a tag. And then the fucking Bucks make a comeback, and then they all start doing shit to each other. And then it goes on and on. This match went over 30 fucking minutes. And they literally had 3 matches. They had the first match where they got heat on Dustin. Cody made a comeback. They could have done a finish there, and it would have been perfect. Then they started over again. They did another match where they got heat on one of the Bucks, and it blah, blah, blah. And then they could have finished, and it'd been okay. It'd been fine if we hadn't had the real good match in front of it. And then they all just kept doing shit to each other until it looked like that they were lost and blown up. And at one point I saw a camera pan when they're all laying on the ground, and every single one of them was plainly looking at and talking to each other with mouths moving. because they were trying to figure out where the fuck they were at this point, because they'd gone half an hour and they were just doing shit over and over. So half a fucking hour. If you don't have a clearly defined babyface, a clearly defined heel, I've never seen two sets of heat in the same match where one team got a set of heat on the other team and then the other team got a set of heat on that team. I've seen two sets of heat where we get Robert, give Ricky a tag, then get Ricky, give Robert a tag. But it had to go so long and broke down into such a mess that even the Rhodes boys couldn't save it. And I don't know why they had to go. And then they were doing a promo afterwards, and the Bucks go into their blasé promo where I don't know what they were going to say. They were swerving like they were going to fucking knock the Rhodeses, but they were probably going to make up. But then suddenly the music interrupts them, and they say, well, I guess we're out of time. And then here comes fucking Shad Khan and the fucking gun violence guy. And here comes Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, and Brandy's out. And here comes Kenny Olivier, the big fucking superstar, after that goddamn marathon match he had, comes out in a pair of shorts and some lime green shoes looking like a fucking gas station attendant. And they all it's like now the show is over, and now it's the curtain call after the show where all of the community repertory players come out and thank the audience for being wonderful while they attended the play. And Cody, after he's had this fight for 30 minutes, does what the best promo I've ever seen him do with the most fire, talking about the goddamn charity and then talking about putting AEW over after he's just fought for 30 minutes and he's not showing one sign of wear. And all of the people who have just fought each other are standing there like, the show's over. So and whatever we were going to say, we didn't get it out. Never mind. And there's no ill feelings. And then they give fucking Olivier the microphone. And did you understand what in the fuck he was trying to say? Or is he on some kind of Japanese drugs we're not aware of?
I was out by that point, but I've always thought he's awful on the mic.
But I guess, and here's the thing, apparently his fucking sign off is good luck or goodbye and good night. And he goes bang. Well, now they're fucking doing a charity show for victims of gun violence. So instead of saying bang, he had to say boing. But he took forever to say. He sounds just so wimpy and so unconvincingly tough, not tough, and so unpassionate and just nerdy. And he said a bunch of fucking words that didn't make any sense altogether, trying to explain why he was changing his catchphrase that I didn't know what the fuck it was to begin with. And then it fell flattered in goddamn a plate full of piss. And then they were off the air. So in this one, I didn't see the pre-show, and I'm sure the librarians or Sonny Kiss took care of this, but they didn't do anything blatantly stupid, silly, or obviously phony on their regular show. And there is some talent there, but it's disguised in such a whirling dervish of 3-ways and 4-ways and interchangeable tag team matches and fucking bullshit and questionable talent decisions with using guys that just because they're friends and they get over on the fucking indies, I guess, because I don't know a single talent scout or agent or person that I worked with in the WWF or at any major company that would have legitimately signed at least half a dozen of these fucking people, unless now they're saying, oh, they're great because they want to get a fucking paycheck. But not at any point that I ever worked for a major company would at least half a dozen of the fuckers on this show be on this show. And not just my opinion. I'm sure now a lot of people are saying they're great because maybe Tony Khan likes them and the people saying they're great want a fucking job. But no, would have never fucking happened. Right now, I saw half a dozen people on the MLW show last weekend before last that could have taken a half a dozen of these people's fucking place and it would have been a lot goddamn better. And as I mentioned, if they wanted a tag team, there's the Dynasty, there's the Briscoe brothers, there's the fucking Revival. Buy somebody out of their fucking contract instead of foisting off the fat guy and his fucking friend with no mask and a bunch of fucking skinniness. Where was old Mark Queen of Private Party? I'd like to see some more of him.
Oh, they were in the crowd. You didn't see that? They showed a few people.
What?
They showed a few people in the crowd, luminaries in the crowd, including whoever the two lawyers were that sponsored the thing. They showed them drinking beer in the crowd. And then
they've just, that law firm is apparently the victim, or not the victims, but apparently found guilty of some impropriety, as it was on the internet here not long ago. But go ahead.
But Private Party were at the end of the list of pseudo luminaries in the crowd. Private Party were sitting there in the crowd, scouting, watching the other teams to, I guess, prepare for their next match.
But, well, ringside or in the crowd?
I think it was ringside. I think it was
okay. Well, when you said they were just sitting out in the crowd, I'm like, what the fuck? Whenever I go to see the fucking Stones, I always run into Ron Wood in the fucking bleachers watching the opening act. Anyway, we've gone on too long already, but
much like Fight for the
Much
Fallen.
like that fucking show. Please, goddamn, I'm too old to watch any more of these shows. I don't have that much life left.